Hello and welcome back to another episode of DCS in 10 minutes or less with the Mirage 2000. This is episode 19, which will be going over air-to-air combat with our Magic 2s. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Before we get into setting up and using our Fox 2 missile, I'm going to go over some information about the missile first. These images are from the Razman manual. I'm going to highlight a few things about it. If you want to know more, you can pause and read this at your own pace. The Magic 2 is an all-aspect infrared guided missile, meaning it's a Fox 2 missile. Its max range is 5 nautical miles. Its max speed is 3 Mach. Maximum altitude is 60,000 feet. For most operations, you will only carry 2 missiles, but you can load up to 4 missiles. It has 2 different types of pylons. It has a standard pylon and then a pylon with missile warning capabilities. This is important, so please pay attention. The Magic needs coolant in order to operate to cool its seeker head. This coolant is only going to last for 90 minutes. Once the coolant runs out, you can no longer use the missile. If you're using a pylon with a D2M/MWS system, this pylon also needs coolant, which will last for 90 minutes. Once this runs out of coolant, you can no longer use the MWS or D2M system. If you have both missile and this pylon with a D2M/MWS system, and they're both on, it's only going to last for 45 minutes. The initial cooling sequence for the Magics and pylon with the D2M/MWS system is going to consume 10 minutes of coolant. For propulsion, the missile has a single-stage rocket motor that only lasts for 2 seconds. It is not a smokeless motor, so anyone around can see the smoke trail for 2 seconds. For power supply, once the missile is launched off the rails, it has an internal battery that lasts for 30 seconds. Once the battery runs out of time, the missile will self-destruct. For guidance, the seeker is looking for IR heat signature. The missile is a lock-on before launch, which means the missile needs to see the target before you shoot it. Since it's IR guided, you do not have to guide the missile after you launch it, so you could go nose cold or you could go defensive. The missile guidance is also passive, which means it won't show up on RWR. The only systems that can find the missile are missile warning systems that will detect rocket motor UV light. For maneuverability, the Magic can maneuver up to 30 Gs at supersonic speeds. It loses that maneuverability when it gets under 500 knots. Okay, so now we're in the missile preparation phase. First thing we're going to do, we're going to identify we have missiles on board. We're going to do this in 3 ways. 1. Visually confirm we have missiles on board. 2. Go to our PCA panel, identify Magics on the PCA panel. Lastly, go to the PPA panel, go to the test switch, left click and hold. You see we have Magics on board. Release that, now go to the PPA panel. Identify the Magic preparation button. If you can't find it, it says MAG at the bottom. This button has 2 functions. 1, it starts the missile preparation phase. 2, it will power off the missile unless the missile is currently selected. Side note, the missile preparation phase will automatically start 30 seconds after the engine is on. I have it turned off just for the scenario. So now we're going to turn on the missile. So we're going to click on it. The flashing P is indicating the missile is now in preparation phase. This should last roughly 42 seconds. Okay, a solid P means that the preparation phase is complete and your missiles are on. Don't forget, if your missiles are on, that means you're using coolant. If it's just the missiles, you got 90 minutes of coolant. But now we're going to go to the countermeasure panel. We're going to identify the D2M or MWS switch. So if you have the pylon that has the MWS, it's going to be the pylon that has a white sensor at the back. If you turn it on, all you have to do is click on it. Don't forget this pylon also takes coolant, so if you have the missile off and the pylon on, you're going to have 90 minutes of coolant just for your pylon. But if you have the missile and the pylon on, you can have 45 minutes of coolant. Don't forget the initial startup of it. It's going to take 10 minutes of coolant, so you really have about 35 minutes of coolant. A little bit of a pro tip. So if you're doing online PvP like open conflict stuff, just have them both on, because let's be honest, you're going to be up in the air, shoot your missiles, you're going to be back on the ground before 45 minutes. If you're doing like missions with your buddies and the mission's going to take over an hour, I would just keep it off until I know I'm about to be in combat, because it would suck to go to combat and your missiles are or don't have any coolant because you've been flying for over an hour. Okay, now we're going to go over how to select Magics. Before we get started, we're going to go over some Hotas commands. So go to Adjust Controls, make sure you have Mirage 2000 selected. Then make sure you have C and M Magic mapped to your Hotas. Again, C and M Magic mapped to your Hotas. Okay, so unlike the 530, where it says MAG down here, don't select it. Use the Hotas command that we just went over. You can see on the HUD that is now selected. Just use the neutral command from the 530 video. So if you select Magic down here, it says MAV. Nothing popped up here, so what MAV is MAV is a sub search mode for the magic, which we'll go over here shortly. So now use the command again to go back into magic mode. Let's go over this real quick. So select the jettison. If you have magic selected, that takes priority over everything. So even with selected jettison on, you can still engage targets without actually jettisoning your weapon. Then if you come over here, so the 530, you're able to select like left missile or your right missile, whichever one you want to shoot. With the magic, you cannot do that at all. The magic's automatically going to decide which missile takes priority to shoot. Okay, so this is going to be the HUD portion of this video. I'll now be showing a full HUD breakdown of all the symbology, as I did that in my last video. If you guys don't know what that looks like, please watch my last video. I'll link it above now so you can see the breakdown. So this is going to be going over the close combat mode specifically for the magic. So before we get started, we have one more Hotas command we need. So let's go to adjust controls, make sure Mirage 2000 is selected, and we're going to need nav update / magic unlock. Alright, so I'm going to use CNM magic Hotas command to select the magic. Alright, so by default it's always going to go in this position. So mag, short for magic, and then a vertical position. There will be a horizontal position once you select MAV. So by default it's always going to be this. So the default search mode is going to be vertical wide search, which is the 18 degree wide by 37 degree tall rectangular search pattern. Next, with using the magic unlock command, we're going to have vertical narrow, which is a 7 degree wide by 7 degree tall search mode. To get out of that, just select it again, and you go back to default. Alright, now we're going to select MAV, which you can see right here. Alright, so this is going to be the wide horizontal search. This is going to be a 35 degree wide by 14 degree tall search area. Same thing, if you do magic unlock, you're going to get that 7 by 7. So say you're in a fight and like you're in a horizontal scan, right? And instead of like trying to click down to do all this because you're in a fight, just go to CNM neutral and go back to CNM magic to get that default position. Again, these are going to be like the close modes like bore sight, vertical scan, horizontal scan, so within 10 nautical miles, so pretty much visual range. As mentioned from before from the information portion of this video, the magic secret head is always looking for IR heat signatures, which means that we do not have to use a radar to lock a target or to engage a target. The best way to point the secret head is to use a bore sight crosshair on the HUD. If the secret head sees something, it will produce a circle around the target that it sees. To demonstrate this, we have a target about to fly in front of our HUD. For the final portion of the video, I'm going to show you guys the process of the magic locking the target, and then the radar locking the same target so you can see the symbology. Now I'm going to unlock the target, relock the target with the magic, then I'm going to slave the radar to the magic. So for that we need one more command. So adjust controls, Mirage 2000 selected, and we need magic slave. Okay, let's do it. So I'm selecting the magic right now. So the circle, that's only the magic. So now I'm going to hit the bore sight to lock it up with the radar. Okay, now we got the target box indicating that the radar is now locking, and then we got the circle indicating the magic's still locking. What's happening right now is that both the radar and magic are slaving to each other. It's a pretty quick process. Triangle indicates that both radar and magic are now slaved to each other. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to reselect the magic. Alright, now I'm going to slave the radar to the magic with the slave command. Alright, now the radar is slaved to the magic. So hopefully this video is useful for you guys. I'll see you on the next one.